NCRP Productions presents New Dallas, an alien RPG campaign series podcast. Character creation. So my idea in general for the alien story, we might even have changing characters. I am all for rotating in guest stars. This more than Unhallowed, I think I can do that with. The general idea for the starting group is I'm going to have to come up with a reason that you guys are together on the ship. Going around the room, Pedro, you decided that you were going to do a marshal. So Pedro is doing the marshal. And Sequoia is...
medic.
Is doing the medic.
I'm doing the Colonial Marine.
Is the Colonial
Kind of
Marine.
the Comtech Colonial Marine guy.
Comtech specialty. I like that. And then... I almost said
company man. Yeah. So like my idea of my company man, if this does fit, it's like not so much of like safety coordinator, but more like, you know, the executive who like slept with the wrong guy's wife at the company party. And
you're like an OSHA rep. Oh no,
you're
HR.
Babysitting job with these jarheads and space truckers. You know.
So you're a little scandalous.
Yeah,
that's cool.
You know, that's
I'm excited to see that. From you.
Yeah, I'm not really like, you know, I'm the company man. I'm here and everything.
You've been punished and you got shit duty because of it.
Yeah.
I love that. That's such a good starting place.
Yeah, one of the big things, and we've talked about it in other games, one of the big things that I expect from this group, because this group has definitely been doing this in Dave's game, my expectation is that you guys are going to step out and create stuff. So in our Unhallowed game, lately Ty has been doing this. Doesn't have to always be a bombshell, but Ty is doing this thing where he's writing his background and then he's dropping it on the group periodically. We just found, I think 2 weeks ago, he had a wife and kids.
Yeah.
We didn't know that. I don't know. Pedro, a few weeks earlier, dropped on the group that he has control of Sequoia's character due to hypnotism-induced indoctrination. So things like that. Not that you guys, I want it to be something you've talked about it. So somewhere, and this is part of the reason I'm having some of these things going, part of your backgrounds, as you guys are doing it, do talk about it. I don't want Josh to say, well, so Pedro's character used to do this for me, and Pedro's like, wait, what? If you guys want to build the background like Sequoia and Pedro had done, because I don't assume you guys built that background day one.
No.
Right. It's something that happened, and I love the progression. So, and I've mentioned this, I know Sequoia's thinking about it, I know Jill's thinking about it. In Unhallowed, I'm running the game, and I was telling Dave this story about Shadowrun. I'm running the game, and suddenly I'm like, ooh, this would be a great idea, and we've been building towards it, except I'm listening back, and I was building towards it, but I never had it in my head. In Shadowrun, you know, we're playing along, and I was always in touch, because not me, the writers of the game were so good that I would read the stuff, in the back of my head somewhere, it connected, and I realized, oh, they're going to do this. Only one time did I do something going ahead of where the narrative was for them and kill the wrong person. Aside from that, even if they killed somebody, it ended up being the person in the Shadowrun game they killed. So what I'm hoping for is, I'm hoping my brain works the same for this game, so as we move forward, things will congeal into different things that I didn't start with. There is a huge one in Unhallowed, huge in the sense that I think it will shock everyone, not it's going to change the feel or the flavor of the game, but something where you guys are going to be like, oh my god, I think so, because when I realized that's what I was doing, I was like, oh my god, that's incredible. So I want you guys to think in terms of step outside the box. What I've done is similar to what you introduced me to, and then Steve did for the Cthulhu game, because I think he did it after you did Dread. I've got a few questions here, and they're hopefully questions that are going to push you guys to think. And what I want to do, the reason I'm recording it is, I want it basically on the spot. As soon as we're done with this, and we have all the pieces put together, I'll just drop this whole thing in to where everyone has access to it, so you can re-listen to it, but, you know, take your notes. So, as far as the classes, the Colonial Marine, which is Dave, as I have not read the book, but if there are things in the Colonial Marine book that you want to utilize, talk with me if it seems like you're like, I'm not sure if I should be able to take a tactical nuke. But stuff that's going to make sense, go for it. Don't worry about it. I want you guys, kind of what Dave has said to Pedro with the magic. I do want you guys to have a fairly good idea of what you're doing. Each of you guys has a standard write-up in here,
like an archetype kind of thing.
Archetype written up. And so what I was looking at is the role that I'm going to have you do is going to give you a bonus 2 the starting archetype. What I'd like to have you guys do is take those archetypes as your start, just because it's going to be easier than rolling the characters from scratch. I think it's going to be faster for us to get in, and I think it's going to be easier to kind of know what you're doing, because now you can read what they wrote. I want you to name your character the way you want to do it. I want you to do the background. If it's male in there, you want a female, fine. If it's female, you want to... I want it fully done by you guys. Just the starting number stats are yours.
I kind of envision this like a cigar smoking kind of seasoned kind of like maybe an NCO, like a sergeant, from Colonial Marine. Can I take one of the pre-made characters from I think it was Destroyer Worlds, whatever the sergeant was in that one?
I think they're all the same, but yeah, you can look.
All right, yeah.
You can look.
Already, I can just take it straight off of that.
Yeah, I feel like they were pretty much cut from the same cloth.
Okay.
So what I'll do then is I'll kind of start the collection of questions. What I need is, do we have a dice on the table? We need
alien dice?
Yeah, we need a D8 and a D10 that we can just pass around and each person can use.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some questions at you. The idea for me is that I want you guys thinking right now, because when I hit you with a question, I want the answer now. I don't think any of you guys is going to muddle through it, but if you need to take a moment, do. But I want the answer here on the table, which is again why I want it. We are recording? Yeah, that's why I want it recorded. So, who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, so Sequoia is going to give me a D8 roll.
Okay.
This is player-to-player knowledge. This is not character knowledge necessarily, although you'll see some of it is going to be.
4.
So, why haven't you seen your mother in the past 15 years?
The main reason that I haven't seen her in 15 years is because when I left our, the home area, there was a lot of grief and sorrow and guilt involved with my leaving. And honestly, my character is afraid to go home.
Wow. Okay. Dave, would you like to give me a D8 roll?
Sure.
Maybe we should get a couple going.
Yeah. If you
think
turn,
I have
if
some more.
not, turn directly around. All right, Dave. What happened to your second wife?
So I was out on deployment and came back to find out that my wife had cheated. There was an altercation. I spent some time in the stockade, got out, and she left me, which I'm still bitter about.
The altercation was between you and her?
No, me and the other guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Should have been between me and her, but
And are you divorced?
I am technically still married, but I am, like estranged from the wife.
Gotcha.
We're separated. I don't have any contact with her. By the time I got out of the stockade, she had bounced. So she cheated on me and then left me.
Perfect.
Right.
So one of the things that I looked at was also, in part, some of these questions are not to test your knowledge, but if you have some knowledge of the aliens universe, there are some answers that you could give that would be slightly different, and I'll come back to them because I don't want to give you guys thoughts for it.
Now this is my second wife, you said, right?
This is your second wife.
Second wife.
Okay, so Josh, go ahead and give me a D8.
5.
Tell me what happened to your brother.
Oh, me and my brother, we just never got along. We were rivals, born close to one another. He was a lot more athletic, and I was the brainiac. But he was always trying to impress everybody, doing these crazy stunts and getting into all this dangerous stuff, while I was obviously well aware of the risks involved. And one day he tried to jump a ravine in his four-wheeler, and he didn't make it and smashed into the wall. And I always saw that coming. So survival of the fittest.
And he didn't make it as in he's passed.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you there at the burial services?
Well, I was there. You got to put in the look. You got to make sure people see.
Do you hold any guilt?
Oh, not at
happening?
all. No. I saw this coming from a mile away.
How long ago?
This is when we were teenagers.
Okay.
So yeah, probably 12 years ago or so.
12 years, body time, because you may have been in hypersleep.
Right. Very true. So yeah.
Time.
Pedro,
Alright.
read for me.
1.
Why does your daughter hate you?
Oh. Well, that's a complex thing. I see myself as definitely being a man of the people. I always, as a marshal, would want to go out and help as many people as I could, but the job always did seem to come first. And though I tried to show my love by bringing she was always fed, she always had a roof over her head, my acts of love were, keeping her safe, but I wasn't really there emotionally. And it really didn't hit me until she left.
Is she still alive?
with my connections as a marshal, I've been able to find out yes, but she has not told me that herself. I've tried to keep tabs just on the great things that she's done. She went off to go pursue a job in the sciences, and so I've heard that she's come up with a few scientific advancements or discoveries that have of some prominence, and so I'm proud of her, but I haven't mustered the courage to call and tell her.
As you guys can imagine, that section was to kind of give me and give you a family background. The one we're going to move on to next is money. Josh, do you want to start us with
Yes.
D8?
6.
All right. Josh, why do you believe the corporation won't come after you?
Why won't they come after me? Actually, because they know that, I have something to offer. I have ambition. I have talent, skill. That's the reason why, that's the reason why I've been able to work my way up this far from such a low starting point, and that's the reason I think they'll see there's a benefit in promoting me over coming after me.
Do you want to tell us about what it was?
What-
The incident that happened?
The incident that happened.
Yeah, why
that they
you
would
don't
come
think,
after me.
Why you
for.
don't think they're coming after you?
Oh, because I got full control over this whole thing. My schemes are multi-layered, and I've covered my tracks at every level. So
Okay.
loose ends are tied up here.
All right.
I'm not worried.
So your belief is they won't come after you because it's worth more to promote you.
Oh yeah,
and to
I
take you
offer
out.
I offer a lot more in the service of the company than to be removed off the board for sure.
Okay. Sequoia.
Okay.
Give you a D8 roll.
This is. I'm nervous too.
Why did you give up your share of the family business?
Well, when I left, I really didn't intend to ever come back,
Bagel taste of bagels.
and it felt wrong to tie myself up financially somewhere I was never gonna check into again.
Okay. Do you know what the family business was?
Yeah, it was like a textile kind of plant.
Very good. Dave.
You're making tapsters for the fraternity. All right, roll
Give
a
us a
D8.
D8 roll.
All right, here we go. An 8.
With an 8. Dave, what do you plan to do with the $160,000 you found?
I got 160K. All right, $160,000.
Maybe start by telling us how you got it or where you got it. You know what I'm asking.
Gambling in my off time. I'm a thrill seeker, right? If not out playing Black Flag and killing bugs, then I'm rolling dice. I'm playing cards. I'm a card man, and I'm on a hot streak, right? What I plan to do with the $160,000 is I intend to invest it in some new toys.
Okay.
Maybe plan an off-world vacation.
You're off world all the time.
I
so
know,
that'll
right,
be
right,
interesting.
yeah, right, yeah.
All right, Pedro.
5.
How are you coping with having lost all the patent rights?
Not well. So, as a marshal, I definitely did have, I think, everything I needed, but I did want more. So in my off time, I tried designing, let's say, a new form of non-lethal, like, some kind of tech to take, perpetrators down non-lethally. Something new. Me and a friend of mine from elementary, he was always the sciencey one, and let's say I took some kinesiology courses in college, so maybe I knew some physiology stuff. So we tried to work together to create this, and yeah, it ended up not in my favor. I kind of got screwed over by this guy.
You got
And-
Steve Jobs.
It probably reflected in my family because I didn't tell them about this specifically. I wanted it to be a surprise, but the anxiety and stress of it not working and that definitely put me and my wife through a rough patch, and my daughter just she didn't understand. She was too young to really understand it, but internalized it nonetheless.
Very good. So the next group of questions, we're going to be rolling D10s for. And this is going to connect 2 characters. So when we get the roll, and it's going to start with each one of you, so we're going to have 4 sets of connections. And it is possible that one of you will connect to everyone else. And it's possible that we may not end up having it. You will all have one connection to someone because of these roles. In this case, I have no problem with you guys talking together, but talk it, through so we all hear it. Talking together to kind of come up with the answer when you're ready to give it to me. So, Pedro, go ahead and give me the first roll. And what the question is you and which other character? I'll remind that Pedro is a marshal, Sequoia is a medic, Dave's character is a Colonial Marine, and Josh's character is a company man. Pedro, you and which other character?
I got a 7.
Who does the medic work for? Like, is she a medic for the Marines? Or
We will make that decision when we come to it.
But like
I'm
the
not
art
too
type
worried.
doesn't specify that. Is
No,
my question.
no. All of this
It's
is
just
kind of
sort of
available
generic.
to you guys.
Like, it might be a company medic, might be a military medic. Who knows?
Yep. So you and which other character were saved by an android?
Ooh.
I am gonna go with Dave.
So you and the Colonial Marine were saved by an android.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
All right. So Dave had him and his.
My character's name is Alistair Richter.
All right,
Sergeant
Alistair.
Richter.
So Alistair came to my neck of the woods. I guess you're still part of the Corps, or
At the time that you're talking
Oh,
about.
I was known as Sergeant Richter.
Yeah. So here's what it is. So you and your unit came down to my neck of the woods. You were looking for somebody. So there was somebody that was running around that you guys had to take care of, and you came to me.
Did you name your guy?
No, not yet. I haven't thought of a name yet. You came to me because I knew the area well enough. So you kind of gave me the lowdown of who it is, what they were running for, and we kind of worked together to find out where they were. Now, the unfortunate part is they were in a very dangerous section of my area, so I knew that there was risk. I kind of tried to help prepare, but turns out that there was a lot more of his crew than we anticipated. We got pinned down, and I don't know if the rest of your unit... Yeah, we'll say the rest of your unit got blasted.
Okay.
Why not? And
So you two were the only survivors.
Oh,
Yes.
And was the
dual
synth
survivors.
part of the
Marine
Colonial
contingent?
Marine squad?
Yeah, we'll say that
There.
the synth was
Yeah.
part of it. So we thought maybe... Would the Colonial Marines would they not tell other Marines that there was a synth?
Oh, they know.
Depends on the group.
Yeah, usually they know that there's a
Yeah.
synth, right?
Oh,
They know
depends
it's
on
a
the
synth.
group. There was
and
a
a lot
point-
of times the synth will be like the pilot for the APC or
Yep.
something.
Yeah. So we'll say... Yeah, let's say that the synth maybe wasn't exactly combat ready, but they came in at the last minute. They, maybe somebody sent off a warning over to him, and he
Walter
came in.
Mull.
Yeah, came in at the last moment and was able to blast some of them, but ended up being destroyed as well. And we ended up catching the perpetrator, but not without severe casualties. And we would have been casualties as well without that android.
All right, Dave, why don't you give me a roll?
All right. 2.
You and which other character survived the plague on LV-221?
On LV-221, me and the company man
Okay.
survived the plague. We discovered some of the black goo, and instead of taking it back for experiment, we were able to get away with our lives empty-handed against the company man's better judgment. But with the close confidence and of my M4A1 pulse rifle and my training, we were able to get off-world safely, soundly.
It sounds like you didn't necessarily get off world legally or the way you were supposed to.
We got out.
Okay.
The rest is
It doesn't really
classified.
matter.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All
The rest is
right.
classified, but we got out. I think we
not
dodged a
how.
huge bullet there because what did get out on that planet, we're probably not going to talk about.
So that brings me then back to a question for Josh. With your previous question in the situation with the corporation not coming after you, doesn't
Right.
have to,
Right.
but for tying, this is one of the things I
Yeah.
was hoping would happen. Is this that instance?
Yes, that is.
Tell us a little more.
That is what it is. so
Funny you say that. So it's,
in these sorts of situations, it's not uncommon for the company to sort of cut its losses, and in this particular scenario, it would not be unrealistic for us to be defined as losses under those terms.
lost a lot of good men that day. Of course, they were losses.
So we had to do things a little unorthodox, and we had to maybe do things that in other times may be considered criminal, but obviously we knew better, and we knew that they were justified for the situation.
Okay. And on that note, Josh, Why don't you give me a D10 roll?
Preserve the company's interest.
Have you named your guy?
6. No.
He's something real shisty sounding.
Yeah, he's kind of sleazy.
So Josh, you and which other character put down a Worker Joe synthetic life form? So Worker Joes were something that were created once the, not Walter, but the David model had shown to have some minor flaws, even up
They're
to
like
the level
lobotomized
7s.
ones.
Yeah. So the Worker Joes were basically rebuilds or new builds that literally just worked. In a lot of cases, they didn't even have faces. They were just robots.
And so an accident happened.
Yeah, accident. Call it what you will. You and who else had to put down
Oh,
the
right.
Worker Joe synthetic
Right.
life?
Right. So in one of the company holdings, we were just having routine maintenance and
You and who?
checkups. The company.
Yep. Which other player here?
Oh, it's gonna be the medic.
With you and the medic.
Yeah.
So
Youth
the
and
Sequoia's
Isis
character.
and
Yeah. So right. So we had a situation with a rather unorthodox synth that was kind of going off rails and causing a lot of problems, and so we sort of took him in to check him out, and he ended up turning on many of the engineers and scientists that were checking him out. So in that situation, we had him restrained and half destroyed. We brought in the medic that was assigned to that facility at the time, and that's where we met. And together, while we thought the synth was no longer a threat, it turned out that it was still capable of inflicting bodily harm. And so thankfully the medic had some small level of combat training, and so I wouldn't admit this, but I might owe that medic my life. I would rather keep that to myself, but we'll
Okay. All right. And Sequoia, if you'll give me a D10 roll.
Yeah. 6.
Give me another one.
Okay.
Most of them I can switch around, but that one's pretty specific.
9.
So Sequoia, you and which other character have seen an ancient civilization that is alien in origin?
Okay, it was me and Josh's character,
Okay.
and it's kind of then set the tone for me having the feeling of cleaning up after him. Is that this is the second time he's brought me into some horrible situation that I had to fix with things that I don't love to destroy things. It's very opposite of what I've trained for. But here I am having to make sure that there's no possible potential of infection or any kind of mutations following us back from the civilization.
Okay. So as you guys can see, you're starting to have connections, background connections that you guys can draw on in the game. Something that a lot of times we have to create somewhat inorganically to make sense, but right now we've got them for in-game in a couple of cases, especially with Sequoia and Josh, especially with them as very, very close. There's that cleanup idea. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of like a Ponce, but I'm hypocritical.
I like it. So then the last one is going to be giving you a bonus. It's going to be a fairly good range of things. And what I'm giving you the bonus to, so you're going to be slightly more powerful than the starting characters. You're going to be getting a +1 to something. And I do want to have some explanation based on these questions for it. But you're going to have your base character. Dave's got his, for example, right now. With this, you're going to be able to change one of the stat scores. So with that, since I pointed Dave already, Dave, give me a D8.
D8.
All right.
Survey
Just give it
says.
to me.
Oh, here. All right.
I'm kidding.
All right. So, all right. 8 or 6. 6.
So Dave, how were you able to get your unit through all of that?
All of what? Oh, all of that.
Tell me about it. Tell me how you were able to get your unit through all of that.
Not his story. Because
Yeah, not my unit.
What I love is the Colonial Marine just got that answer. So
By utilizing my training and maintaining my composure and performing admirably.
that's great, soldier. Tell us a little bit more.
At the end of the day, we got a job to do, right? And the only way any of us get through it is by working together and relying on each other.
So it sounds like you've signed an NDA. Is that true? You can't talk to us about it?
Well, I am a military asset, and some people's eyes would be expendable, but I like to think otherwise. My men aren't expendable, nor am I. But the things that we do, we rise to the occasion and serve a higher cause so that you can sleep peacefully at night.
Okay, I love it. Did you end up taking the character you were thinking that is the Comtech kind of direction?
I just chose the sergeant.
Okay,
You know, so
works for me. I just was curious if you were
yeah.
specific.
I kind of imagine.
So I'm going
this,
to take
this,
Comtech off and I'll put sergeant instead.
I kind of imagine this seasoned kind of NCO kind of guy, not an officer, but like this kind of.
Apone.
He's been in the trenches. Yeah, exactly. Apone. A cigar smoking, Alistair. Yeah, okay. Every paycheck a fortune, every meal a banquet. I love the Corps.
So you may add +1 to any one of these: command, Comtech, medical aid, or survival.
I'm gonna do Comtech because it's kind of my specialty.
Beautiful, yeah, because it works right into it. All right,
That's what a
Sequoia,
Comtech is.
give me a D8 roll. All right, Sequoia, do you ever see yourself taking control of one of those again? Tell us about the situation.
So the one time I did find myself having to pilot in the game, I don't know what the word is, but like a little jumper thing for
The
when
dropship?
Is that the big one?
That's the one that takes the Marines down. It could be a shuttle.
What I'm envisioning is like we're on the surface and we're escaping something very fast.
So your choice. Shuttle would be 2 or 3 people, maybe 6 at the most. The dropship is literally that larger one, 5x5. The larger one that carries equipment, possibly the APC, that kind of stuff.
I'm going to say the shuttle then.
The shuttle, okay.
Obviously, I am not meant to be piloting or driving any kind of shuttles. But at the time, there was no one who was able to do it for various reasons, some of which were, an unfortunate choice of time to be inebriated. And so as we were hauling ass, I unfortunately had to take the driver's seat. And while it was not a smooth ride, we did make it out of there alive.
Okay, I like it. So for you, you have the option to take, and I love that you had piloting, +1 to heavy machinery, or piloting, or command.
I'm going to say command.
Very good. All right. Pedro, give me a D8.
3.
So, Pedro, I can't imagine being in a fight like that. Can you tell us more about it?
Okay, yeah. So, and I came up with a name for my character. Cole Bloodhound Baird.
Cool.
So, this was the one that I did not think I would make it back from. So, being that my name is Bloodhound, I've always been good at finding, the one that I need to bring in.
Mountie always gets his man.
Yeah, which at times has been a detriment to me because I don't always like to wait. So sometimes I can be impulsive and I just have a confidence about my abilities. Well, this was a time where I metaphorically had 6 bullets and there was about 10 people. So I was pinned behind crates. So I had tracked somebody down. They were running a new drug substance through our system and through our planet, made with exhaust buildup from ships, and they formulated it into some sort of synthetic drug. It was sweeping through our communities and really doing a number. So I really needed to find this out because the people that it was hitting, it was starting to get to kids about the age of my kid, who was coming up to about the age of 10 at that time. So
this is your daughter?
Yeah, this was my
and
daughter.
You only have your daughter?
I only have my one daughter, yeah.
Okay.
I found out a good lead, and it was right after a day where we had about 36 deaths. About half of them were kids. And so the numbers of people who were dying from this was jumping. So I found this out. I knew where they were, the people who were doing a shipment drop that night. It was supposed to be a big one, maybe even the last one. I called in where they would be. Backup was about an hour out. I didn't think we had the time. So I, got my sidearm. I even got a pulse rifle that I had stashed away after an incident. Actually, let's say it was a commemorative one I probably got, let's say, from one of the Colonial Marines. Gave it to me.
Feel the weight.
Yeah. So, I stashed it away. I don't know if there's anything illegal with having them, but it was commemorative. It was given to me, so I kept it. So I took that, went down there. I attempted to do it in as law-abiding way as I can. Of course, they didn't like that, and there was a lot more people than I thought. It was an unfortunate bloodbath. They lost a lot of people, and I got, let's say wounded. I got shot 3 times. So I'm pinned down, I hear that pulse rifle click, and I hear my pistol click, and I don't think I have any more going for me. And so I stood up, there was a few people left. I stood up and, they had me dead to rights. But at the last minute, I noticed that they had walked right underneath a lift fork. Something that I saw there. And I thought, you know what? There's no way this is going to work. So as quickly as I can, I feigned throwing out my gun to them. They might think I still have more bullets. I winged that sucker at the button, and it was like an angel drafting it right to it. It hit, it fell. Unfortunately, they got 2 more shots in on me, so I lost consciousness. Next thing I know, I wake up, I'm in the hospital. Wait, oh yeah, we heal in tubes, right? I forget. Yeah.
There's all kinds of ways.
So
Hospital
let's
is
say
one of the
because I
ways.
had a good insurance, I woke up in there. My wife and child looking
Medical
in.
pod.
Medical pod. She was sad, which crushed me, my kid, and it was one of the few moments where I really, I'm not exactly physical. Like I'm hard to express my emotions. One of the time I wish I could hold her and say I'm okay. I didn't know I was gonna be okay or not. I'm in this heal pod, yes, but things happen. So, but even after I got out, I couldn't. The time has passed. I couldn't tell her that. So,
It sounds like that incident may be the beginning to why your daughter hates you.
it could definitely be a start. So, yeah.
The drug you were chasing is called Thrust. It's a drug that's made from engine pollutants and a mushroom tincture from one of the planets they found. It's basically an upper. It has an in-game effect.
It's like the stuff from Snowpiercer that everybody was jacked up on.
I haven't seen that far, but I think I remember that.
They were all passed around. Yeah, it was basically the nasty stuff that
Right.
back in the slum car.
There you go. Yeah, that's perfect. No, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's basically.
Love it.
You ever seen the theory that Snowpiercer is a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory sequel?
No.
It's a cool video. I'll show you when we're
All right.
done.
Oh, wow, it sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, Josh, we haven't left you out. Give me a D8 roll.
Roll that date.
7.
All right, Josh. What made you decide to work with that corporation and why them?
Oh, well.
Which
Because-
is perfect that he's the company.
Yeah, no, that's an easy one. I mean, I always knew that I was destined for greater things than the little shitty colony I was born in. And so whenever this particular company was, bankrolling and setting up this colony, it was no surprise to me that I would groom myself to become exactly what they were looking for and to fill their every need and basically fit in and succeed, because to me it didn't matter which company. I didn't care about their policies or their stance or their politics. I just was going to go after whichever was the most powerful and ride that to the top. That was my plan.
Okay. As far as picking the company, and we'll obviously have time because we're going to be eating and stuff. I've got a book here. Dave's got a book here. If you guys
So
want
they
to
go
through.
into the companies.
Yeah, you can kind of choose
That's
which
cool.
one.
Okay.
So, Pedro,
That's
for
cool.
yours, I forgot to tell you,
Whalen Utani.
you have the
is not
option of
only
taking
company
+1
option.
to close combat, ranged combat, or observation. And you don't have to choose now if you want to see what observation is, because that's the less
Like
obvious
perception?
one.
Oh,
It's kind of the perception one. Give me a second. I will tell you what
That's cool.
observation does.
There's a different type of perception.
Yeah, let me
So
know
are
because it'll be
you gonna
between
be
that
like
and
a company
range.
medic, or are you gonna because I kind of wrote you into a wall.
That's
And-
fine with me.
I felt bad.
Yeah, no, that's fine with me. I think, can I change mine to piloting from command? Is that
Yes,
okay?
you certainly
Okay.
can. Absolutely.
As I'm kind of filling out this character in my mind, I don't think command is something he would.
I mean, you could have left the company and done something different before
Yeah.
we were reassigned to the same
So,
ship. you know?
honestly, it's just an ignorance on my part. I'm not quite sure how that would all work, but I can't see
Like,
an issue with being a company.
the
medic.
corporations are it's corporations and military that have all the power.
Yeah.
So like if you're gonna be traveling through space, you're gonna be working at some level of the chain for one of them most likely.
you have your alien book out?
So
Yeah.
it's
Right
like,
down, it's in the closet.
So we don't know that we're in space, really. Like, we could be on a colony somewhere, but we don't know. But
Yeah, I would be fine being. I think
like-
it's funny that we have like.
yeah,
a,
I do. Too. Like, man, every time I start running that guy,
Motherfucker.
bullshit happens and I have to clean up after him.
I think that's funny.
It's like,
What's that?
he's good for some things, but
Thank
shit, is
God.
this even worth it?
Yeah, I mean, like
I can't find mine.
1 in 4 times we end up
Yeah.
running, fleeing.
Yeah, let's order
Yeah,
some
no,
food.
I mean, I was with a Marine and I fled, so.
Yeah. So for creating the character, it's going to be 14 points in campaign play that you can spread across the 4 different attributes. The attributes are strength, raw muscle and brawn, agility, body control, speed and motor skills, wits, sensory perception, intelligence and sanity, empathy, personal charisma, empathy, and ability to manipulate others.
It's like I did a 5 in wits, 3 in strength, 4 in agility, and 2 in empathy.
Gotcha.
Program.
Yep, that's 14.
Yep.
Once everyone's got their attributes laid out, let me know and we will move on to skills.
I love how simple it is. You know, it's great. It reminds me of the old school character creation process like Game World, things like that, where it's just simple. You know?
While you're doing it, actually, I'm going to read you skills because it's a little more specific. You're going to want to look at the book for your skills. But your skills are the knowledge and ability you have acquired during your life. There are 12 skills in the game. They are measured by a scale of 0 to 5. The higher, the better, of course. You're going to add your skill plus the appropriate attribute to get your dice pool from it. From what I understand, this is modern day game in the sense that everybody should be able to do basically everything at some level.
Okay.
If you have no skill level, you can always roll for a skill even if you have no level. In that case, you just use the associated attribute. And starting skill levels, when you create the player in campaign mode, you get 10 points to distribute amongst your skill. You can assign up to 3 points each to the skills list in your career. You can assign a single point each to the other skills. You can, of course, increase them over time. So is anyone done with their attributes?
Yeah.
I don't think you ever gave me a +1 to anything. I don't know.
Oh, so Josh, your options were +1 to observation, command, or manipulation.
Oh, definitely manipulation.
Okay. But go ahead and write them down. Yeah, it was kind of fun the way you guys rolled in the chart that I'd done up. Wow, just worked great. You're doing the Colonial Marine out of there.
Right here.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
Same thing, 10 points. I have to take 1 point in each close combat, stamina, and range combat.
Right, you're going to be more specific.
So then the skills listed by your MOS. So I got to have 1 point in Comtech and observation. There's 5 of my points right there.
How many
So,
points?
skill points, you're going to have a total of 10. For you, Josh, company man, your key attribute is wits.
Yeah.
That's the one you can raise
That's what
to
I
5.
did, yeah.
In the case of the marshal, your key attribute is wits.
Oh, we're all witty, guys. They're like-
For the
I'm
medic,
50.
your key attribute is empathy. You can go to 5 there.
So, but otherwise, 4 is the max for all of them.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So, Sequoia, for you, as your medic, you can put up to 3 in mobility, observation, medical aid, and you can put 1 max in any of the others.
Okay, so I can. I'm sorry. Say
Up to 3 in mobility, observation, medical aid.
10
1
points.
in any of the others. And remember, the +1 that you got from character creation is in addition. In fact, if it pushes you to a 4, I am okay with that. So then, Pedro, you are the marshal.
So we have 10 in total. To
10
spend,
total skill
and those are the
points.
only ones that could go up to 3.
No.
No.
The 3 key skills I gave you, those are the only ones that can go up to 3.
Yeah.
Everything else can go 1. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, it
10
can-
points max. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything else is max.
1.
Is only 1,
Yes.
other than a key skill.
And so can we?
Okay.
Is it so we would add 0 if we didn't have a 1 there?
Correct. You would just write 0.
Okie dokie.
And so, Pedro, for you, your key skills, the ones that can go up to 3, are observation, ranged combat, and manipulation. Max to 3 on those, 1 on the others.
Oh, max of 1 on the others?
Max of 1 on the others. And again, your bonus +1 can go anywhere. So it can make a max 1 a 2, it can make a 0 a 1, it can make a max 3 a 4.
And so, weapons-wise, what kind of skill do I need to be able to shoot a gun? Is that implied?
Nope. Well, you obviously, again, because anyone can do anything, but is it called ranged combat?
Ranged
I think
combat.
it is.
Ranged combat, yeah.
Shooting the gun is ranged.
So we're gonna end up with like a bunch of 1s and maybe a 3 or 4.
Yeah. So I took a 1 in observation, 1 in stamina, 1 in close combat, 1 in mobility, 1 in piloting, and I've got a 4 in comtech because I got a +1.
Yep.
And then I have a 2 in range combat.
And if you look at the characters that we played during the different Aliens games, almost all of them have max 5 skills. In one of the cases, I think they had 4.
Yeah,
but generally, they're not. There's very
This
few
is-
people that
yeah.
have 1 in everything.
Yeah.
So we've been around, but we haven't learned a lot from our experience.
Well, you are a fully functioning character.
Right, totally.
Again, you can do
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, we just like barely survived.
On the min-maxing side of this, you could put zeros in something that you have high attribute in, and bigger numbers in things that you have low if you were trying to play the min-max averaging game. So if I have a 4 in one of my attributes, then I would put that in the one where I have the skills of 0. If you want to play that game, that would allow you to average up your highest
What
numbers.
was mobility for again?
So mobility,
Yeah, I'm going between stamina and ranged.
So I'm a comtech marine. It says-
mobility. So
Yeah.
stamina is a strength-based skill. When your physical endurance or vigor is tested, roll for stamina. For example, this skill is used to survive the cold, vacuum of space, or resist deadly contagion.
Yeah.
And Sequoia, you asked me for
Stamina.
stamina.
And
So
then mobility is what I asked for.
mobility. When the heat is on and you are trying to dodge the jaws of death, you need to keep a cool head. Roll for mobility when you want to get out of a hazardous situation, be it a risky climb, a dangerous jump, etc. When mobility is used for stealth, make an opposed roll against your opponent's observation. This skill also has specific uses in stealth mode and combat. Any other skills we're wondering about?
Is encumbrance a skill?
Encumbrance, I think, is not a skill, but a piece of the chart. I think encumbrance is going to define specifically your boxes to carry, and I want to say it comes off of strength, but I will find out in just a moment.
I have to look at the talents and see which ones.
And talents is going to be the big thing. Encumbrance, you can carry a number of regular-sized items equal to double your strength. So whatever your strength rating times 2 is going to be your encumbrance. Are there any other boxes that we aren't filling out easily? Does anyone see a box that we don't have a reason to fill out yet?
No.
Well, I mean,
Good.
Yeah, there's like
There's other
just
stuff,
stuff
but I think
for
we're going to get to
next
those
steps,
Right,
naturally.
yeah, talents and stuff. But
This is I'm excited.
Well, I have been excited in putting this together. Like I said, I'm trying to fight against the I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
shooting or manipulating.
For your guy, I feel like shooting.
That's what I was
A lot of your
thinking.
stories were about shooting.
People are wild in the Wild West.
Your next, how to create your character, your next step is going to be choosing your career talent.
Uh-huh.
So I know Dave's got his book over there to be able to deal with.
That's enough.
Josh has got his company man.
Yeah.
So career talents for you, Pedro. Do you have that up?
I have it, yeah.
All right. So authority, investigator, and subdue. For Sequoia, your options are calming presence, compassion, and field surgeon. Give me a moment. I'm rushing to the talents as we speak. Oh, they're actually specifically done. Very nice. So medic, calming presence. People find themselves relaxing whenever you are around. Once per turn, you may reduce the stress level of another character within short range by 1. Hugely important.
Yeah,
In addition,
I'm.
in addition to the normal stress recovery, in order to use this talent, you and any other character that hopes to benefit from your calming presence must be in relatively safe place. Compassion. This isn't just a job for you. You truly care about the people under you. You can push any skill roll based on empathy twice, not just once. So standard rules allow you to push something that you fail, but do not roll a panic, an alien on your die. You can push it once, adding an additional stress and then going again. If you fail that second time, you just fail. In the case of taking compassion, any empathy roll would let you roll it again. Last one is field surgeon. You know the delicate art of stopping a wound. You get +2 modifier to medical aid when treating someone who is about to die from a critical injury.
So I envision myself being like an NCO this season kind of thing. So It says roll. These are events that have taken place in my military career.
Gotcha.
So it says roll 1d66 on table A
Right.
and then 1 on the second one. So the first one would be a 22.
Is that on? So you roll on enlisted and NCO.
Yes. Yep.
So give me the number again.
22.
22. You buck authority. Given the choice of prison or the Corps, you choose the latter. You do your job, but still don't like being told what to do. You gain the hot head talent.
And then the NCO.
Yep.
NCO is going to be 44. Easy.
44.
Yep.
Your squad was relentlessly hit by booby traps and sniper fire from an invisible and unreachable enemy. Frustration and anger boiled over. You gain the merciless talent.
Yeah, that falls in line as well.
Yep.
What's Josh's
Merciless
option?
hothead.
Yeah.
So it says there the talents that I have to pick one, but are there? They must be in the main book.
Yeah.
Like remote. What is remote?
Oh, here, I got it right here. Colonial Marine remote?
Yes.
That's not in mine.
All right, so then
That must be in
it
the
is very
Colonial Marines.
possible that it's
Could be in
here
there,
under
yeah.
New talents.
Yeah, I have Banter, Overkill,
Because
and
we
Pass
knew,
Limit.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
that's
That's what's in the book, at
Okay.
least.
what is.
Banter, overkill, and past the limit.
Okay.
Oh, is banter in there?
Yeah,
Okay.
Banter's in there. Yeah.
Banter is hugely important,
Banter's the one where you basically
Yeah,
calm down
lower
your
the
other
stress
Yeah, you lower the
of the
stress
team.
level.
and
yeah.
you lower 2.
That's funny. It doesn't seem like you would be the one to do that.
I don't know. I could.
Not with
merciless
merciless
hothead.
I think it could be really funny though.
I know.
Because he'd say like some crazy shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Gallows.
I know we've
humor.
seen some crazy shit today, you guys, but listen here.
At least we're not wearing
I'm
underwear.
gonna go
Yeah,
with
right.
Investigator.
Just something nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you are going down the road of Hudson no matter what you do.
Yeah. I envision Hudson. You know.
Come here to eat hot
New
dogs and
talents.
kill aliens. I'm out of hot dogs.
New
Yep.
talents. Wait, 5 talents are new and available only to Colonial Marines. What was the one you just said?
Remote.
You are qualified to set up, control, and repair remote sentry guns and other remotely controlled battlefield
Ooh.
devices, and to pilot remote vehicles and pups.
Right.
Receive a +2 contact roll to carry out these tasks. The correct equipment is needed in all cases. A portable uplink terminal, for example, is needed to remote pilot a dropship, evac fighter, or APC.
All right, I'm gonna take that one. That makes sense. Remote.
All right. So, Sequoia, did we get you your options for talents?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with calming presence.
And Pedro, did you get your option for talents?
Yep, I'm going with Investigator.
All right. So then, your next step after choosing your career talent, name, appearance, personal agenda, we'll get to that in a moment,
Okay.
buddy and rival, gear, roll for cash. All right, so personal agenda. Actually, everyone's going to have theirs, but Sequoia, let me run you to the medic.
Okay.
Choose from the options below or decide one for yourself. Personal agenda options. You are addicted to a strong painkiller. Protect your stash and your secret. Or you have some unusual, but classified, medical reports that the company is looking for. Find out why they are so important. Or you've sworn an oath never to take a life and you mean it. And within that, you could come up with something else as well.
Simp does not count as a life.
To you. To you.
So Dave, did you
I
end
have
up
2
with
empathy.
2 talents?
That's like
I
my
ended up with 3.
5.
So you get so the Colonial Marines are you get slightly more than everyone
Sounds
else.
like yeah, but I get picked up talents from the 2 events.
Yeah, and or you get +1. So the Marines start up better than the regular
What did you
characters.
pick,
bad.
Pedro?
But I have a suspicion that as
Investigator.
the other books come out, the same thing's going to happen for
That
life
sounds
events.
yeah,
and we
it's
sort
gonna
of
be
did the
going.
life event here, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are
Fits your
going to be a
bloodhound
hell of a
name,
step
too.
up.
Yeah.
So
I
Sequoia.
mean, if you want me to swap out, do you want me to?
No,
Okay, all right,
I'm going to
cool.
keep it the same.
All right.
So Sequoia, signature items, choose one of the following, or, again, come up with one for yourself. Signature item is the item that you're going to kind of take solace in, and that's your thing where you're going to have a chance to reduce stress. So the things they have is the framed medical certificate, the letter from a son or daughter, or the last psych eval showing that you are all clear at last.
Okay, I got my own.
Okay.
Yeah. those aren't
Obviously,
very good.
you guys should be able to do your
Mine
own
aren't very good.
appearances.
Employee of the Year award, like I'm gonna sit in my room and look at my Employee of the Year.
That
award.
is like a funny type of psychopath, though. It's just, yeah, I got that one.
I liked my other guy's signature item was his drugs. I
So
thought-
Yeah.
Sequoia,
Yeah.
you're going to have an option of 2 items from this list, plus you're going to get a D6 times 100 starting cash.
Okay.
And the gear
Money.
items you have, surgical kit or the IRC MK.50 compression suit. That is
Or-
option 1. Or
Can I ask about a personal agenda, see if it would
Yeah.
fit? Can I say that, let's say one person survived from the thrust incident,
okay.
that person has somehow either been released or escaped, and I want to try and find them if possible, and basically to save my daughter, because I'm afraid for her life if I don't
Okay.
find them.
So I'll warn you.
If that's not
No.
in the scope,
I'll warn
it's
you that
fine.
if you take that as your agenda, keep in mind that
character
creates a
is
double-edged
OP.
sword.
Yeah.
I
If
can't
you
wait.
think he's looking for your daughter, he could be.
Oh
Liam
yeah, I
Neeson.
mean that part's
Okay.
fine.
I'm fine with that.
Particular
Yeah.
set of skills.
Will that fit in everything?
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be a manipulator, but a manipulator needs empathy. Because that doesn't make sense, because my character didn't even care that his brother died. So
Right.
he's obviously not
Right.
empathic.
No, sociopaths
But then I
can
found
totally
that one
be-
of the company agent's career talents is take control, which lets you use wits for
Yeah.
manipulation instead
There
of
you go.
empathy.
Yep.
So now I found
Yeah.
the character, so
There
I can
you go.
convince you guys to do anything.
Let me tell you that in reading the comics, rewatching Aliens with Burke, they have done the company men up pretty psychopathic.
Yeah. Mine's not psychopathic. He's just very ambitious and unwilling to really consider others' needs.
Oh, so psychopathic?
So
Did you call what
that
did
was
you
option
call
1
it?
for gear.
Yes.
And you're getting 2 of
I'm
them.
gonna go with the compression thing.
So
Oh.
you have 4 options. You're only
Oh.
getting 2.
Okay.
Next one is a D6 doses of nap relief or a D6 doses of never sleep.
Oh.
What's it's, okay?
Nap
know
relief, I
what those
think,
are.
is the damage. It's the overcoming damage,
Okay.
pain. But we can look it up. Third option is personal med kit or a D6 doses of experimental drug. And the last one is the Samani E series watch or a hand radio. I'm going to say don't take the hand radio. It's the only one of these
Okay.
things I would say to you, don't take.
I'm gonna take the suit and the personal med. A med kit is like a like a bag of.
Yep, I'm going to go
okay.
see what it says, but yes, so the first one is the IRC MK.50 compression suit. So your MK50 compression, state of the art when it was introduced 6 decades ago. The reliable MK50 compression suit is still a common sight on the frontier. The sturdy helmet has a comm unit and heads-up display, a lateral headlight, and a wireless helmet cam that syncs to any mobile or stationary monitoring system. The suit carries a healthy supply of oxygen and maintains internal pressure for its wearer while in vacuum. If you are going to get blown out into space, you want to be in the MK50. Armor rating is 2.
Will you read the first couple things again?
Yep. State of the art when it was introduced 6 decades ago, the MK50 compression suit is still a common sight. The sturdy helmet has a comm unit, heads-up display, lateral headlight.
What's a heads-up display?
That's the HUD. That's the thing where you, Iron Man. You get to see you're tracking things. You can, in a lot of cases, like if there were feeds from other people, you might be able to tack one in.
Okay. Lateral headlight, and then the oxygen is next.
Wireless helmet cam that syncs to any mobile or stationary monitoring system, and the maximum air supply is 5. That is extremely healthy.
Should we roll for our money right now?
You are welcome to roll for the money. Yes.
Okay, and you said 10 times a d6?
10 times a d6, 100 times a d6 for you.
100 times a d6.
Can we buy stuff as well while we're at it?
Yes.
Can
I have $160,000 dollars, right?
Where's
Yeah,
the
can I have some of Dave's
Wait, what
money?
happened?
Yeah, you can share it, right? We're gonna buy ourselves a vehicle or something.
Where is
Maybe you
there-
could buy that tactical nuke
So
now.
I took 6 signal flares and then a mechanical cutting torch.
You have the money for those?
Well, no, so this is the equipment of the base. So I get my basic marine gear, then I get 1 piece of bonus gear. I took the 6 signal flares,
Okay.
and then 1 from list B, which I took the mechanical cutting torch.
Got it.
And then as a Comtech Marine, I start with an M41A pulse rifle, electronic
Whoa.
tools, and a Seeks and System diagnostic device.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sequoia, the personal med kit contains what you need to stop bleeding, disinfect a wound, and cauterize it. Some Pharmex bandages to wrap it up, and a stim boost to keep you on your feet. A med kit is not a permanent solution. It's more of a band-aid to keep your guts from spilling out until you reach an auto dock. It gives a +2 modification to medical aid rolls, but can only be used once.
Okay. Like once in the whole game or once per round?
I'm going to kind of say once per wound.
Per wound, okay.
I feel like that makes sense. This can only be used once. And well, let me see how expensive it is. The personal medikit is $50 once. Literally once.
Okay.
So this is just stuff to start with. Like, we're going to requisition things along the way.
Depending on your situation, yes.
I don't suppose you want to give me a pulse rifle in the beginning because I put in my backstory, do you?
Don't you have a pulse rifle?
No.
He did, but he
in my
gambled
story
it
I
away
did.
on a card game or something.
Oh.
So Sequoia, just so you know what some of the things were that we were looking at. Never sleep. Excessive use can cause a stroke. Each dose increases your stress level one step, but removes your need to sleep for 1 day.
Wow. That's
During that day, however, because your height, you cannot relieve stress in any form.
Pulse rifle.
Nap Relieve is an instant painkiller. Immediately reduces the patient's stress level to 0. In an overdose of Nap Relieve, you can have an intoxicating effect. Each dose beyond the first in the same shift gives a -1 modification to all agility-based skill rolls until the end of the shift.
Okay.
And Dave, the shift was how long? Do you remember?
Oh, shift is
Was that 12 hours?
something like that. Yeah, or 8 hours or something. It's a long time.
And it's a tiny items? What does that mean?
Yeah, I was wondering.
Probably just like small
Is that
things
writ-
you
is that
pick
written
up.
down?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just says so. It's probably like small things you pick up that don't weigh anything.
Yes, right. Car key, it's a badge, those kind of things.
Okay.
The idea is there's going to be things that will not slot. So Encumbrance, generally each level of Encumbrance is either going to be a single item, 2 items at half Encumbrance each, 4 items at 1/4. So for example, the grenades in our game were 1/4 Encumbrance items. Most things are 1 or 1/2. There are a couple of things you guys carry that are 2. I believe Dave, if he took the big giant gun.
No, I have
that's-
a pulse rifle.
But I think that big one
Smart
takes
gun?
2 slots.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
he does.
the swivelly
Well, can you
one?
look and see if I don't see it in here? Can you look in the gear section and see if the M41A pulse rifle's in there? It should be.
Okay.
And we have to
I
worry
just looked
about
at it.
food and water and
No,
stuff.
it's not in here.
It should be in there.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Not yet.
What's the bonus and damage and range?
It's
Is
plus
that the
1
M4?
bonus.
Is that
It's
the
arm
Aromat?
mat. Yeah.
That's the M41A pulse rifle.
1 bonus.
This is
plus
1AE2.
bonus.
1AE?
Hang on, that was the MAE2.
No, it
The
should be
M41A.
M41A is what
That's
we're
what I'm
looking
looking at.
Are you just looking at a
Bonus?
straight one? Oh, there it is.
All right, what's the bonus?
+1.
+1. And then damage
2.
That's a $1,200 gun.
and range.
Damn.
Long. Weight, I'm assuming, is Encumbrance. Weight
yeah,
is
let's
2.
see.
Or is 1. Is
There's
1.
another thing for
Piercing,
weight.
full
Encumbrance.
auto,
Just
grenade
how do I know
launcher.
how do you measure encumbrance? I don't remember.
Each
that.
item is basically 1 Encumbrance unless it tells you it's less. And it would make sense. So the phased plasma pulse rifle is a 2 weight, so it's a 2 Encumbrance.
All right,
so
so-
yours is just a 1.
How about ammunition?
So each unit of ammunition is 1/2 of 1 Encumbrance.
All right.
And the idea is you're not necessarily carrying ammo because you're basically, when you make bad rolls, when you make the stress rolls, you then roll to see how much it goes down.
You empty the clip. Was that alien?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
alien was emptying the clip, but even in a regular situation, certain things reduce it. But it's the idea of what you can change to. How many clips are you carrying? So, brap, I've run out of these.
Okay. So do I have any? It's part of my standards. It doesn't say.
You would
so-
not have extra clips. You would be buying those.
Okay. So yeah. So I've got, and then also, it also carries a. If you look in there, I think it also carries the M40A grenades. You know, it has an underbarrel mounted grenade launcher. So I think it's a 30 millimeter.
With the underslung 30mm pump-action grenade launcher combined in a sturdy housing. The M41A fires explosive-tip, caseless, standard, light, armor-penetrating or US M309 rounds, accelerated via electrical pulse. Remaining ammo is tracked via an LED computer, and the rifle has 2 firing modes, burst and full auto. For more about the grenade launchers, see the U1 below, which we'll look in just a moment. An otherwise reliable weapon, the M41A can jam when fully loaded, so partially loaded magazines are recommended. In their downtime on missions, Marine will take the time to remove a few rounds from each of the magazines. Even with this flaw, the M41A is what you want slung over your shoulder, but if you're a civilian, good luck getting a permit for
Fuel
one.
weight.
So let me look and see the U1. The Airmat U1. This 30mm pump action is typically found as part of the M41A, but individuals do exist. Standard payload for the U1 is the M40 high explosive frag grenade, but the launcher accommodates a variety of other grenade types from the smoke to flash to electronic. See grenades below. When facing superior numbers, the U1 is your friend. A target hit by a frag grenade suffers explosion damage, blast power 9, plus 1 extra point of damage. All other targets in the same zone suffer explosion damage. A smoke grenade causes no damage. A flash grenade, immediate stamina roll, or they lose their next turn. How about grenades themselves?
And so at this point, I should start buying gear.
Yes, you are welcome to buy gear.
You can buy a $50 million computer mainframe.
Nice.
If you have
How
the
much
$50
money do
million.
I start with on the side of my 160,000 in winnings?
It's not in your
Oh,
thing.
no, I didn't.
If it isn't, or whether it is or isn't, I want to see if it matches here anyway.
We all do a D6 times 100.
I had 2d6.
You had 2
Starting
D6?
gear.
There's not extra armor I could buy for like a marshal, is there?
You can't buy any armor. I can tell you that right
Darn
now.
it.
'Cause you
It
won't
starts
have
in the
enough.
thousands.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I looked at that.
Yeah, Fresh Colonial Marines gets 3 types of gear: basic gear, specialty gear, and bonus gear, which I got all those. Items listed below are included in the gear chapter, so I got all those. So basically, I start with that gear.
D6 times 100.
So yeah.
So
it
normally
doesn't-
you only get 2 of the items below here.
Okay.
You either get the pulse rifle or the smart gun, motion tracker or the electroshock grenades, pressure suit or the personal armor, signal
Oh,
flare
yeah.
or a deck of cards. And
Personal
you get
armor is
2
$1,200.
of, and it says 3 there.
All Colonial Marines, included officers, will begin the game with the following gear: military ID tags, battle dress utilities, the M3B standard boots, the IMP individual Marine pack, which includes a personal med kit, the M10 ballistic helmet, the M3 personnel armor with built-in personal data transmitter, and the TNR shoulder light.
That's like $3,000.
Okay, then does it say you get any others?
And then I get one piece of gear on this other list. Here, I'll show it to you.
Okay, and then anything else?
And then I get one piece of gear from the second
Yeah.
list.
All right, so
And
you
that's
got-
where I got the
you got
signal
2
flares and the
items.
cutting torch.
Right, and you got the 2 items. Well, so the
And then the Contact Marine starts with an M41A pulse rifle, electronic tools, and the Seegson system diagnostic device, which I have no idea what it does.
there we go.
Other than that, so I need to buy ammo, right? With the,
If
I
you
can
want,
buy,
yes.
Yeah, I can buy ammo with the 160,000.
What was the Seegson thing?
The Seegson is called the Seegson.
Is that the C-Series magnetic tape recorder?
No, it's the Seegson system diagnostic device, the SSDD, whatever that.
Is used to troubleshoot computer and mechanical systems aboard a space station or starship.
Nice.
A good engineer knows how to use one of these to hack doors and computer terminals. But you didn't read that here. What it does is Comtech plus 2.
So that's awesome. So yeah, I'm a total Comtech guy. I've got a 4 Comtech plus my 5 wits. So that's 9 dice, and then 2 more if I'm using able to use my little kit.
I was expecting Pedro to run the medic, only because I was expecting Pedro to have a meth problem.
A thrust problem in this one.
So Josh, do you have all the standard stuff written for yourself already?
Yeah, I haven't spent my money.
We need to buy extra bullets or something. Bullets were just
my
cinematic,
stats are
right?
good, and
I like
my
dirty
my
bullets.
talent- My character is a master manipulator, so I'm just hoping to survive strictly off of being able to convince other people to do things that I need them to do.
So Pedro, for that, the idea is you have
I could buy a whole
theatrical
bunch of
clip.
stuff.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So the idea is if you don't
160,000
take extra
dollars.
clips, which
That's
he
awesome.
did, and I did, you don't take extra
I'm
clips.
gonna go look at the
you make
vehicles
that
and see
roll
maybe
where
we
you
have some
clip
kind of
it,
vehicle.
if something
We can buy
happens,
several
you
Well,
can't
I
around.
have one in
If you don't
piloting.
have another clip, you will.
Let's see how
you
much
have
it is.
to
It's
get
probably a
clip
ton of
somewhere.
money, but it's
How much are you gonna charge for a clip?
Did you,
First,
Dave?
you
Did
have
you
to
find the
launder it.
cost of a clip for weapons somewhere?
not yet. I haven't looked though.
Seems like 50. Well, 50 or
Food
lower.
drink. Here we go.
I'm gonna get a magnetic. It was like a magnetic recorder that plays music, and it gives you +1 to manipulation. So like when you're trying to talk people into stuff, you just turn on the background music really fast. And
Oh.
it's all soft, nice background music, and you're like, listen here.
Is that the Seegson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of those too because I'm like +1 to manipulation. Okay.
But it's such a fun.
Yeah.
The concept is such a fun tool. Like
Dun,
you
dun,
literally
dun,
play
dun,
background
dun,
music,
dun.
and then that could give you Barry when you're redoing it at the end a cue to add some actual background music to that particular character. You know.
Mine's just gonna be
convincing
Bad Boys.
him, So
Right. Everything is Bad Boys.
What you gonna do? That's gonna be mine.
Well, I do experiment occasionally with doing royalty-free.
Dude, I could buy one of these. I could buy one of these. One of these tractors that we could all drive around in.
All right, so keep in mind, the reason I wrote it that way, and I didn't know if anyone would get it, but I love that someone did. The reason I wrote it that way is where you're going, you are still riding potentially inside of a sleeping habitat. If you bought that, it could be at home or it could be on a planet.
Right, okay, gotcha.
But it is probably not running around everywhere.
Okay.
We'll
Be
just
cool. We
strap
take it
it-
where we go. It's a big tractor.
Yeah, we'll just strap it to the bottom of the ship.
Yeah. Dude, $500,000 for one of these M77 APCs, dude. Yeah.
Set aside enough money for some what are they? Like some tie downs, so we can just wrap it around the ship. We'll tie it down to the top.
That's awesome. All right, let me look and see where it talks about ammo.
Let me look at encumbrance because
let's
I only
see.
have a 3, but I mean, do you know how encumbrance works?
So encumbrance is twice your strength.
Okay, so twice my strength, so then 4 is my max.
Yep.
We don't start with a weapon unless we specifically buy it.
Yes, correct.
There's no standard issue company man weapon.
Is there a reason to save money?
Not a weapon, and not that I know of in game that there may be something to have it for, but I hadn't initially figured anyone
One of
would.
my gear choices is a service pistol.
And so for you just want to make sure. So the flashlight is a hat. Oh yeah, you've done the.
Yeah,
encumbrance.
yeah. I've
So you
written
can
it down.
basically fill 4 lines.
Yeah.
And I forget what happens once you go over your encumbrance level. There is a game mechanic for it, and we'll find it out. We will know it by then. And
Okay, it says one full reload for a firearm
yeah.
typically costs about 5% of the cost of the weapon itself.
Okay.
So the pulse rifle is so it's 1,200.
So 60.
So it costs $60 for. Oh, okay, cool. So
Pedro.
We should probably have combat.
Pedro, a clip for your weapon costs approximately 5%. I would round it to something smart.
yeah.
Oh,
5% of the cost of your weapon.
okay.
So I'm gonna have
Yeah, let me-
I'm gonna have my main clip, and then I'm gonna have 6 more. Right, I'm gonna have 3 and 3. So
You can carry.
yeah.
Yeah,
Clips are less
that
than
is
one.
3
I mean,
encumbrance.
ammo is half a point.
Half
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna have now. You can.
Oh
have
wait,
it-
an extra clip is a half
Yeah,
encumbrance?
I only have a 4
Oh my god.
encumbrance, so I gotta be.
Well, how much can I carry?
Twice your strength.
My strength is 3, so I can go up to 6, right?
Yep.
And I've got 1 right now. So if I do, that'd be 3. So okay, so 3.5. So I'm at 4.5. But I don't know what the other shit like my armor and everything else. I don't know if they're.
You're wearing that, it doesn't count.
No,
Yeah, I'm wearing
that is encumbrance. So wait.
Yes.
So you've got armor.
Yeah, I've got you got standard issue or M10 ballistic helmet and the M3 personal armor with built-in personal data transmitter. It's marine armor.
So you can be the blip in the command.
Yeah, I
room,
could probably
and then
see
the
her
blip can go
armor.
out after you.
What I loved about this game when I was reading those
M3
parts of the
personal
rules,
armor encumbrance doesn't say anything. It says weight 1. Is that what
Yeah,
that's
that's encumbrance for the armor. So,
Okay,
which one do you have?
I have the M3 personal armor.
So the M3, yeah. So that's 1 encumbrance for that.
And so that's 1 encumbrance. The pulse rifle itself,
I thought we figured out that was 1.
that was 1, so that's 2.
Yeah.
And I can do 4 more, which means, I can't carry 6 clips.
And that's what I
that's
love the
what I
beauty of
was
this
getting
game.
to.
Right.
Was it doesn't allow people.
Right.
So you got the D&D
Like here.
players, that
You just throw
I
it
got
into
1,700 arrows.
Yeah.
Because
So-
based on the weight, I can carry them. No.
I just give everybody bag of holdings
Like
and not
you can
not worry
have
about
the
it.
things, right? They just can't be on your person. So I mean, maybe they're at base.
Yeah,
maybe
I mean, if
they
you want to
buy
buy them, there's
an
no
extra
reason
gun.
they're not
You know.
in existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
You just-
figure
That was
out-
kind of like I
yeah.
said with you with the tractor.
I'll figure out the equipment there, but yeah,
Maybe
'cause
you
I gotta buy
have it.
grenades and bullets.
Maybe you have a box of bullets back at camp, and you buy them all right now, but you only carry 3 at a time.
Right, same with the tractor, yeah. And it says you could have more equipment you could carry, it's just you decide what you're gonna take out with you, But for the most part, let me see here. So I've got my talents, I've got my specialty there. Oh, stress level, health. Health is the amount of something, I forget, is it amount of your stamina? Or
How do you get help?
There's a way to figure out how many boxes of health you basically
Okay,
have.
so hang on a sec.
I need to make sure I didn't nerf get myself.
Oh, my armor, so it's M3 personal.
That was interesting. They didn't have health on here.
Armor rating 6.
I wonder if it's an attribute that.
Critical injuries.
All right, so stress. Life in space is stressful. Your starting stress is 0. Health. Health points are equal to your strength score. Talents, however, modify health.
That's it. Damn. Only
I don't like that very much.
That doesn't sound very good at all. I've got 3 boxes of health. Who's got
No.
the 1
Boxes?
strip?
I've got 2.
Did everyone sort of at least look at their campaign agendas?
No.
Okay. So, well, I read you
Where was
yours,
that at?
Sequoia, but
Oh.
I'm not dead set on you taking ones in the book.
Oh, that part. Okay,
I would
yeah.
much rather have you guys come up with ones on your
You
own.
want us to come out, or are you going to give them to us?
No, I
Okay.
would much rather have you guys come up with your own personal agendas for the campaign.
Okay.
Oh,
Because-
I have mine then.
Oh.
Buddies
But
and Rivals.
Yeah. Does that have mechanical?
Nasty cat breath.
So, Buddies and Rivals, the alien role-playing game is about a small group of people facing unknown and horrifying dangers in the cold darkness of space. To survive, you need to find someone to trust, but also be careful when you turn your backs to them. In game terms, your PC can have 1 buddy and 1 rival amongst the PCs. You can only have 1 of each. Your relationships are important for the GM, as the GM can use them to create interesting situations in the game. In campaign play, you choose 1 PC to be your buddy and another to be your rival. In cinematic, a lot of times the choice is made for you. You guys come up with your name and your appearance, but Buddies and Rivals, that can also change in the game.
Yeah.
And especially if we do at some point add players from outside that come in for a 1 or 2 or whatever they do, you can change at that point. My understanding is at the beginning, the way people played it, and I think that's right, at the beginning of each session, you can kind of announce if you're changing it to somebody else. There should be...
Cool, so you're not locked in.
Right, and there should be a
That's cool.
purposeful reason for it. And again, you can, not must. So if you don't think you have a rival, then don't have a rival. There's no reason to arbitrarily do
But
it.
it doesn't have any actual impact other than story.
It has impact on the story
But it doesn't.
and for experience. Now, I have not yet read enough on experience to decide when I will do it. It may not be in every night. It won't be a season, but it will be a story at some point that I'll say. So, I'll let you guys know, here's the point. And you're going to get XP, so I can run the full gamut of the points, because a lot of times an episode's only an hour to an hour and a half. But the idea with the points is it's interaction. If I remember correctly, it's interaction with your buddy and your rival. So if you do take both, and you come up with legitimate reasons for it, let me see if I can find that. All right,
What's your character's name?
I haven't slipped
Okay.
the name. But yeah,
I think
we
the
can-
rival's going to be the company man.
Yeah, that's what
Because
what
the,
I was thinking.
The Marine kind of like,
We got
constantly
caught
like,
on the-
yeah, we're going to nuke it from orbit. The only way to be sure.
Yeah. Well, like we had a chance to develop a rivalry when we were caught with the infection on the planet.
Right.
Like we both tried our own ways to get off the planet, and like it was a rivalry because it was like, are you going to go through the military to get us off, or am I going to go through the company to get us off? And we didn't really specify exactly how
I
we
could
got
see you
off.
guys bantering
but-
for like days while you're
Yeah,
trapped somewhere.
It just what faith? What group do we put our faith in? Is
Right.
sort of the rivalry.
I think I'm going to buddy up with the medic, right? Because I think it's always good to be friends with people in supply,
Who can
the
save
mess
your
hall,
life if you're
and the
always-
aid station, right? In case you need some, like, hey, I need
Okay,
I need a little
cool.
extra
So in
stim
character,
pack here.
and the other thing is buddies, you can have multiple. So all 3 of you could be buddies.
could all
with
be
the medic.
buddies, yeah.
Great for the medic.
Everyone's buddies with everyone else except for the company.
Experience.
Yeah, right, yes.
Company man has no buddies.
Experience is written by the book. One of the most rewarding things in campaign play is watching your character grow and develop. The harsh realities of life will change you. That's all you can be certain of in an uncertain world. You can develop your character in several different ways during the game. The things you learn during the game are measured in experience points. You receive XP after the end of each game session. So in our case, it'll be at the end of each story. You receive, talk it through and let the whole group discuss what has happened. For each of the below questions that you can reply yes to, you get an XP, and they are: did you participate in the game session? Did you risk or sacrifice something to further your personal agenda?
Hell
So
yeah.
that's the benefit to having the personal agendas. Did you risk your life for your buddy? Did you challenge or stand up to your rival? Did you make a panic roll?
Yes, I love it. You make a panic roll, that's worth 1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
It
generally
encourages you
damaging.
to panic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of these are very similar to what we were looking at in the case of Wrath and Glory game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, similar, yeah.
Did you make a panic roll? Did you overcome a dangerous event using violent or non-violent means? Did you make a significant discovery or revelation? Did you perform an extraordinary action of some kind? And I love this one. Did you earn money?
Oh boy.
Which makes sense because as you watch most of the Alien shows, doesn't matter if it is the Roughneck or the Colonial Marine, they're all complaining about getting paid.
Yeah, yeah.
The current story I'm listening to, it's basically the Marine guys that are constantly talking about the payoff, the payoff, the payoff.
Yeah. I mean,
You can
gotta
only
feed your
get
families on
1
that.
XP per question.
Yeah, you can't just be.
And sometimes
I don't
the
know,
questions
space
are
for
not clear cut.
reason.
Discuss within the group to reach a consensus. If you can't, the GM has final say. But they're saying basically as a group, you guys will kind of decide your XP. So
That's cool.
you feel, and I think it's more because I don't ever see that happening with us. But you'll have the guy in the thing that says, "Yep, did that. Yep, did that." And everyone's like, "No, you didn't." You know.
Yeah.
So the idea is to, and I'll go. You know, in our case, it'd be majority, or I would end up in a split picking it. But I don't think we're gonna have a problem figuring
No.
that out.
So personal agenda, I was thinking, again, I don't know where we're gonna be, but
Yeah.
maybe. There's...
Yeah, I love the thought of having you guys build these characters in a vacuum as far as the game, the specific game, because you all know the alien world, all right? You all know the kind of grim future. You know, we're using a lot of broke down equipment.
Yeah.
You have corporations that are using every iota of any usable
cool.
component, and you know the world, and you know what you could at the most extreme run against.
Yeah, so I was thinking maybe something where, like, there's some kind of experimental nutritional aid being added to the food, and I'm tracking, like, the results of it or something.
But that's a
where-
little specific.
Yeah, yours.
Yeah,
is,
that's too
yours is
specific.
very
Yeah.
specific.
Like
yeah.
mine is going to be greedy for power and never miss an opportunity to get ahead.
Well, so, like, the ones that
So-
were offered to me were super specific, like, collect
Yeah.
these
Because-
reports.
yeah.
So I was thinking it could be something where there's, like, a betrayal aspect in
And
a way.
I'm 100% for whatever you want to do.
Okay.
But what Josh said is what I was going to parrot, which is if you want to make it a little broader, you have a greater chance.
It's
So
only
what
your
happens
benefit.
if the story takes us away from the place
Right.
that you're doing the nutrition? You go to the fourth moon of Chibas.
It's like you're playing without it.
Right. So you can't.
Okay.
It would be like you were going with a Space Marine and a Sisters of Battle, and your objective was to make a profit.
Yeah.
Okay.
You kind of got screwed on that one.
Right. but I mean, it was fun. I laughed at it. I was like, this is fucked. But it was good game story wise. But yeah, I'm looking in terms of make something that's not so narrow. Like, the personal agenda. I will do 200 push-ups each day. And what happens if you're in cryosleep the entire time? Well, guess what? You ain't doing no push-ups. So the less specific, the more broader, the greater chance you can kind of shoehorn in. Well, I didn't do any push-ups, but the whole way I was holding on, so it was kind of like push-ups because I was pulling myself up on a...
Okay, let me think about it for a little longer then.
So you're a medic. You're a company medic.
Yeah.
Your background is that you once. Like, what was your other background choices?
I was set up to be a medic for my family-specific company.
So you're like born into the role.
And I will
Yeah.
have this here if you guys want to go back, if you didn't write down or don't remember it. But
Yeah.
Sequoia was, why haven't you seen your mother in 15 years?
Yeah.
Why did you give up your share of the family business? Who else did you see an ancient civilization with? By the way, for me, for that, I didn't write down the other half. Sequoia, who did you see the ancient civilization with?
Josh's character.
Yeah. That's why
Pedro.
I wanted to
Who were you
feel
saved by
if
the android
anybody-
with?
If I had a buddy with anybody, it would be you.
Dave.
That's what I was thinking, like a frenemies
So, like,
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we
Josh,
like, have
who
our...
did you put down the worker Joe with?
Sequoia. Yeah. The medic.
With the medic?
Yeah, she saved me from the worker Joe. And
Oh,
so like
interesting.
he doesn't.
And then
respect
Dave
a lot
survived
of
the
people,
planet with
but,
who?
like,
Who'd you
he respects
survive the plague with?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
with
I
the
think it'd be
company man.
funny if he was just
Josh.
like...
Yeah, I
"Thanks."
survived the
So
plague.
see,
That's
and
what-
there was a place
that's
where I
what
was saying
developed our
Pedro
rivalry.
didn't connect with anyone in the other ones. Pedro only had the
No,
connection there
Pedro
with
was
Dave.
with. Yeah. Oh, Dave.
That's it. Yeah, just the Dave. Just
But then
Just
that
Dave.
kind of dropped him into writing it over here. When Pedro got the fight, you kind of connected back with him a second time. So again, it was fun. Setting those pieces up, I think, was a little bit. Thank you for listening to another NCRP Productions podcast. To stay on top of everything we're doing, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and like us on Facebook, all at NCRP Productions. You can show your support and help us continue to produce content by joining our Patreon. We offer additional podcasts like our B-Sides and have GM materials, maps, and other fun things you can discover over time. You can find our podcasts on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google, and many other fine podcast sites. Just look for us at NCRP Productions. We value your thoughts, so please don't hesitate to leave us feedback or comments. And if you would like to contact us directly, you can email us at ncrpproductions@gmail.com.